Hi, everybody. I am Keith Hannigan, the Community Engagement Lead for the Atlanta Film Society and the Atlanta Film Festival. Tonight, I have the privilege and honor to speaking with Atlanta Film Festival 24, hashtag ATLFF 24 alum, Don-Dimitri Joseph, whose film, The Last Option, was shown during our episodic showcase at this year's past festival. Don, welcome. Thank you for the time, man.
Yo, thank you. Thank you for having me, bro.
It's an absolute pleasure. Loved your film. It was great. Or I'm sorry, loved your pilot. It was and you tell me now, Don, you're an actor, producer, and director.
Yeah. Actor, producer, director. Started off as an actor, and then transitioned into producing because we were like, yo, let's make our own projects. And then after that, got into like my first foray of like actually directing last year. Yeah.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about your acting really quick because, folks, tonight at midnight, something huge is happening for Don. Don, I give it to you.
Lady in the Lake comes out on Apple TV, directed by Alum. She is a visionary director. She directed Honey Boy as her feature, and this is her first foray into show running a TV show. And she was phenomenal working with on set. And I play a character named Johnny in the first two episodes. I'm in Byron Bowers, who plays Slappy Johnson, his crew. And we just had a really good time on set in our first episode. A lot of it was just doing a lot of improv, which was interesting and fun. And then the second episode was just us having a good time together. Yeah.
Well, Don, you didn't mention who's the star of the show.
Oh yeah, Natalie Portman.
Portman. If I'm not mistaken, Academy Award-winning actress Natalie Portman, correct?
Yes.
No, did you have any scenes with her or not?
I didn't have any scenes with her, but I had scenes with Moses Ingram, and she's amazing herself. And she's a phenomenal actress. She's great. She's great.
Now, with acting, and I did some extensive research of you, which means I went to your IMDb page. You've acted in 32 pieces of work, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember the number myself right now.
What was the most popular thing you've acted in?
Probably Lady in the Lake for the one that's coming out now. I mean, I've done Gotham Knights. Gotham Knights was pretty cool. Opposite Misha from Supernatural. That was a good little time. And then I'm not even sure really necessarily like I guess BMF. People watch BMF. People are familiar with that show. And I did it. I was in an episode in that show, and that was a little fun time as well. But also at the same time, I will say the projects that we've made, I love those projects, and I would say those are some of my most favorite projects that I've ever done. You know what I mean?
Well, that's a beautiful segue, my friend, because we're going to talk about The Last Option. I loved it. My wife loved it. You not only acted in it, you not only produced it, but you also directed it. Now, tell me what that was like.
Yeah. I will say it's so awesome when you get to make projects with your friends. My friend AJ Fitzgerald, he's the one who wrote the script. We've known each other for close to a decade, and we've just been making movies for close to that amount of time together. And I remember there was a movie that I was able to be a part of. He got inspired, and we knew that we wanted to make a fun movie. And he wrote down Last Option in 15 minutes. He had the script written down in 15 minutes. The guy, he's brilliant to me. I always say AJ is a brilliant mind, and I just love working with him. And I value our friendship too, even more than that. But with this project, the funny thing is he wrote it years ago. I want to say about like 2018, 2019, around that time, but we basically shelved it because we were working on other stuff as well. And then we were like, yo, we're gonna shoot a project that I ended up writing, which was Lonnie. It's like a project about like a foster care kid. And I was trying to raise money for that, but the money didn't come through because I actually ended up booking Lady in the Lake. So I had to fly out to Baltimore, and the attraction for the money that I was raising basically fell apart. So we were like, yo, what can we do for a little bit of money and that we can just, make it happen. And we brought up Last Option. We shot that for $1,200. We shot it in 3 days, and yeah, we were able to, put that together in a fun way. We brought together some of our friends, Candace, Marie Singleton. Been friends with her for close to a decade as well, and she moved up here to Atlanta from Miami, and that's where we all met. And it's just been awesome, just making projects with your friends, and also the friendship that we're able to build on set too. And like with my DP Cam Nails, he's going to be DPing the next project that I'm shooting next month, which is called Heart to See. But it's just like just beautiful to see how like these working relationships and friendships we can just enjoy it. You know what I mean? I think it's always fun when you get to work with people that bring their A game, but at the same time who are excellent at what they do and that you enjoy just being around. You know what I mean?
I do, and I'm glad you brought up Hard to See. We're gonna get to that shortly because my friend here is doing a crowdfunding campaign on Seed and Spark, and I want you to donate to his film because he's a brilliant filmmaker. And for those who haven't seen Last Option, what is it about?
Yeah, it's about a guy named Daniel who can see into the future, and he uses those abilities to commit burglaries. And yeah, it's a sci-fi buddy comedy. It's an adventure film. It's a film that we wanted to tackle like platonic relationship as well between him and the lead, Josie. Josie's like this eccentric homeless person, and she's breaking into the same house he's breaking into. But it's a fun project, and it's something that we're looking to expand, and we're trying to shop it around and try to get the funds to also make that project as well.
Well, I got to ask you. I mean, I work for the Atlanta Film Festival, so what did you think? You were a part of the festival this year. It was a huge festival. What were your impressions?
Yo, I love the Atlanta Film Festival. Atlanta Film Festival, the best film festival. You know what I mean? I think literally from just the way everything was curated to the way they treated the filmmakers to the parties to the get-together, just the way every single aspect of the film festival was ran was top notch. The people that I was able to meet, amazing people. The food was good. You know what I mean? Every aspect of the film festival was phenomenal, and that connecting with you was great. You know what I'm saying? So like it was just pretty cool meeting great people throughout the festival from day one to literally the end, and even at the launch party. The launch party was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I feel like Atlanta Film Festival, the hope is that when we get the actual green light for Last Option, that would be like the premiere, home
Yeah.
for us. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Well, it's awesome too because what people are we celebrate independent film. We support and celebrate independent. And independent filmmakers are a community. And one thing that we try to do at the festival is bring everybody together.
Mhm.
I'm a writer, I want to be around other writers. I want to be around other visionaries. I want to be around other filmmakers. We all, at one point or another, got that chill moment, that goosebump moment while watching a film. Whether we were little kids, adults, or we get them all the way throughout. And sharing that common bond, whether you're an actor, producer, director, writer, whatever the case may be, because they're all there, folks. If you go to the Lamb Film Festival, you're surrounded by all of them. Like at the launch party, which was awful, how busy it was. It kind of took us back. We're like, oh my god, this is way bigger than we thought it was going to be. But it was awesome too because it was just like, wow, this is really showing you that the film industry, the independent film industry, is just bursting at the seams with these amazingly talented and gifted and passionate and driven folks such as you. So I say that to ask you something. What was it that got you? What was the film that just grabbed you, whether you were an 8-year-old at the theater or a TV show, you're sitting down, you're like, oh my God, I can't wait. I need to do this.
I think it's interesting, right? Because it's like growing up, I wasn't necessarily ever thinking that I'd ever be in this industry, I'd ever be in this world of filmmaking. But I remember there was one time, even as a kid, just watching Blade, I was like, wow, it's interesting. A black man is on screen as a vampire. Wow, that's pretty cool, you know? And I was really young just seeing that and just enjoying it. And then fast forward, just seeing all the different films, such as like Remember the Titans, and seeing these performances that were just so alive and rich. It was just like, wow, like this is pretty cool. And then there was one day I was in middle school. I don't know, I was getting ready for school. And I looked in the mirror and I was like, man, I wonder, could I ever be an actor? It was just a thought. I remember I had that one thought, and it was just like, huh, I don't know. And I just kept it going and then went on to my regular world, you know. But it was later, in 12th grade, and I was in I was in high school, just doing my thing, and my guidance counselor ends up basically putting me in drama too, randomly. And I'm like, yo, why am I in this class? Like, I've never taken a drama class in my life. And the funny thing is, literally, we're in class and we're doing all the exercises, and some of the exercises they're telling us to do. And one of them, they're like, yo, lay down on the floor, close your eyes, imagine that this scene is happening. But next thing I know, I'm falling asleep and I'm just like, yeah, this isn't for me. You know what I mean? So I'm not even doing the exercise. I'm just sleeping in class because I didn't really know what this was. But later on, around like my beginning year of college, um, my friend and we basically uh, went to uh, an audition at church, and it was for a play called Jesus of Nazareth. And he was like, "Yo, do I want to audition?" And I was like, "Sure, I guess I don't really have nothing to do." And then I went to the audition, and I got the role that I auditioned for. And then it was just like ever since then doing theater, being alive in front of people, and just experiencing the project and the play and just everything with the audience. It was so like so uh, it was just so powerful that that's what created that acting bug for me, and the passion to just keep going with this art of creating films and being a part of moving stories and all.
Well, it's interesting. Okay, so that got you that was the first time you smoked the drug, if, for a lack of a better phrase. You got your first hit. And for anybody, whether you're seeing yourself on a screen or you're performing in front of an audience, I know for actors in particular, I think actors, if you ask them which world they would love to live in, I think majority of them say stage, because
Mm,
there's such a rush that comes in performing in front of a live audience every night.
yeah, yeah.
So with that, what made you get into film?
I was just like, yo, like let's make movies, let's make our own projects. Let's literally shoot movies of our that we want to tell, stories that we want to tell. Because I was like, there were times where I did want to do plays and I wanted to do a lot of plays, but at the same time, I saw the opportunity with film and TV and just how that can reach even more people, with the
Mm,
stories that can change lives. And I feel like I'm in this world to change lives, to impact lives, to, help somebody have a better day than they did, a couple minutes ago. But if somebody was dealing with something and they felt down and they come in and watch a movie that I just was a part of or helped make, and then their day is uplifted, that right there makes me feel like, wow, man, like that right there is amazing. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, totally.
There's,
And I love that answer. It's I gotta know you're saying we, and it means you have a community of you guys.
yeah.
How did you, because for anybody, and we'll get to more to this in a little bit, but anybody who has the dream of being, for a lack of a better phrase, or to use the term most commonly used, the industry, right? A lot of them say you got to be a part of a community. You got to start your own community. You got to find people around you. find others to work with. Writers find writers group. Filmmakers all get together and screen each other's. I mean, if you ever see the Steven Spielberg documentary, you find out who his friends were when he was first making films, and it's like, oh, he was friends with Martin Scorsese, Francis Ford Coppola, Brian De Palma, and George Lucas. You're like, okay, well, that's a hell of a clique of people.
It is.
How do
It
I
is.
create? How do I find that clique of people, right? So, how did you find that community? How did you find that clique?
I will say Facebook was really,
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
So
I mean, outside of all the, you know, hatred and stuff, and a lot of the stuff being spewed, you found this thing. Tell me more.
like for example, AJ, one of the first people that comes to mind. Uh, I met him at a church event, and we just connected there, and then we added each other on Facebook. But fast forward, one day I was like, "Hey, I'm creating a writers group. Does anybody want to join?" And he responded to it, and
Mm,
then a couple other people responded to it. And then from those people that responded to it, we started going to Starbucks and just weekly and meeting up and working on different prompts and just creating different short stories and scripts and all that. And then certain friends I also met at auditions. I met Candace at an audition. I met a friend of mine named Ottaby at an audition at a Home Depot audition. Uh, so I will, and another friend, Isaac, I met him at an audition. So like actors, I've met at auditions, some writers I met at different places and Facebook. And then just knowing that like I feel like I'm a vision filled person. And I
mm,
have a lot of vision in terms of like what is possible and what can be accomplished and the projects that we can tell and the stories that we can create to change people's lives. And I think just like having that, certain people definitely draw to it and drawn to it. And then I'm drawn to their vision as well. And I think us, we gravitate towards one another. And we know that we want to just make fun stories and we want to make impacting stories. And then we're not in it to be famous or anything. We're in it to change people's lives. We're in it to make an impact. We're in it to just because we love it. You know what I'm saying? There's
mm.
this love for this craft. There's this love for film, love for acting, love for storytelling that's there. And I feel like I gravitate towards those people as well who know that they're doing this on purpose, for purpose. And that are enjoying it and having fun with it too. Yeah.
Well, it's funny. I saw the couple of weeks ago. I saw the movie for the first time, American Fiction. If you haven't seen it, see it.
With Jeff, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Jeffrey Ray.
Yeah, it's sensational. And I watched it, and as soon as I'm done watching it, I'm telling everybody, I'm telling my wife, I'm like, I will watch it again right now with you
Mm,
if you watch this with me. And sure enough, and then as soon as that's done, I'm reading the script because you're like, I gotta see how this was be. And the reason why is, and I don't know if you feel this way, there is no medium on earth that gets you, that
mm,
moves you, that speaks to you, that sings to you like the medium of cinematic storytelling.
yeah.
And so I have to ask you with that, what do you see the future of cinematic storytelling being?
Future of cinematic storytelling.
Is it
I mean, that's a good
independent
question.
film? Is it shorter films? I
Man,
mean,
I think it's
how we
independent.
live in a world of TikTok where my 17-year-old doesn't have an attention span of 45 seconds, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No, that's a great question, man. Honestly, like I think it's independent storytellers, it's independent filmmakers, you know. Uh so many articles came out literally specifying how there's been a 40% per drop of productions that are being made and people who have lost their jobs and now are having to do other work outside of the industry because of the lack of productions that are being shot. And it's like, yo, the independent filmmakers are rising up. I think I even saw something about Netflix saying that now they're going to be branching out towards independent filmmakers and considering their projects to be brought onto their platform. And I think that's a beautiful thing because it's like, yo, as independent filmmakers, a lot of us aren't even asking for so much money as those blockbuster films are. If I can shoot a feature film for $25,000, I will make the best movie that we can possibly make as a team. You know what I'm saying? And I know the people that I need to go to so we can tell the right story on this budget. And I feel like there are so many other filmmakers who are independent who know that they can accomplish a lot with a little and have amazing results. So I think the future is towards independent filmmakers. And honestly, even with TikTok, I've seen some cool things happen, even on social media. Like you mentioned, like people's attention spans are pretty short. But I will say though, I think they tried to test something out with either movie or the 3 minute service that was out for a while, and then it had to shut down because they were testing it and they were getting really great productions for short content that was like 3 minute episodes and whatnot, but it wasn't as like they had to shut down because it wasn't what they expected. Because I think the thing is, there's people still want to go to the movies. You know, people want to still be able to actually enjoy a cinematic masterpiece. People want to be able to go to the cinemas. You know what I'm saying? And people want to watch movies from the means of their homes, but of course, in the time that they have and all that stuff. But all to say, I think the future is independent filmmakers telling stories at a budget level that isn't necessarily a blockbuster, you know?
Hmm. And I want great answer, by the way. And I want to point something out. You mentioned earlier about how you found your community on Facebook, and I kind of jokingly quipped about how you could do it. I was joking, and let me tell you why. One of the classes that we offer at the Atlanta Film Society is genre feature screenwriting. I think we have one coming up. And Ruckus and Lane Sky, who are two accomplished filmmakers or screenwriters, I'm sorry. And after you finish the class, you have a page devoted just to all the people who attended that class. So you can go and you can communicate. And I even was the one that mentioned, like, I would love to start a writers group out of the people in this room. And
Mm.
some get back to you, but that's who you want, right? You don't want everybody. You want the people who really want to do it. So I did joke about it, but they're even using the Film Society, and every third Tuesday of the month, and I'm doing some shameless plugging right now. Every third Tuesday of the month at Manuel's Tavern, we have Eat, Drink, and Be Indie, which we always have a theme for that night. But immediately thereafterwards, we have about however long the time is, but anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour for everybody to network. And there are people like Don who go there. There are people like so many, whether it be an actor, producer, director, writer, it doesn't matter. They're all there. And I really, to anybody watching this right now, I really use us. Use the Atlanta Film Society, use the Atlanta Film Festival, and let us help you achieve your dream if we can. At least we can put you in front of people that are like you. And speaking of people like you, I have to ask you something. Given where you are now, what would you say to you 10 years ago to help? Would you say something? Would you give them a piece of advice? Would you want to speed up the process? If you could give yourself a piece of advice that would possibly get you further along in the process at a faster rate, or would you be like, you know what, kid, take your time. You need to experience some things.
Yeah, I definitely would allow myself to still take that time, but at the same time, experience life at a rate where you are taking in everything around you. And I say that because it's like, I know there are moments where I wanted to learn how to play an instrument and I didn't do it when I should have done it.
Mm.
And I think that would have benefited me now. Not to say I still can't do it, which I still can, but I think I would have told myself, hey, Don, yo, learn as much as you can, get better at the craft in your life that you love, but at the same time, don't necessarily let the acting be everything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because everything else around you helps develop the acting, you know? And if I'm a better musician, I'll be a better actor. I can take that into the acting. I can take on a character who knows how to, play the piano. La La Land is one of my favorite movies. Ryan Gosling kills it as a pianist, as a jazz musician. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I think the advice would just to really be experience life and learn as much as I possibly can and enjoy every single moment and enjoy the people around you, really. I lost my grandma a couple of years ago, and to me, I'm like, man, I just wish I would have spent more time with her. So spend more time with the people around you, learn from them, learn their stories, learn who they are. And I think, yeah, it wouldn't even necessarily be about the acting, but it'd be around about the people that you love and the experiences that you are able to experience, really.
Beautiful. And I want to piggyback up something you said. I was in a chat with the writer of, not the writer of the book, the Fight Club, but the writer of the screenplay Fight Club. And I asked him, I'm like, hey, what is one thing you did in your life that helped you become a better writer? And he goes, I took acting classes.
Mm,
And I was like, oh, no kidding. So, and Aaron Sorkin, who's usually everybody's screenwriting's favorite writer, he's an actor. He started out as an actor. So learn other things and like learn other aspects to just be well rounded, man. Just
yeah.
and you pick up this and you might find more of a passion over here than you thought you would.
Mhm.
I think that's what's great about it. Now. I want you to give one more piece of advice, or before we move on, I want to talk to Heart to See. I promise we get to Heart to See, and I
Yeah.
will get there, but I gotta ask you, whether it be a kid watching or an adult who is just, for any kid or adult who has stories to tell,
Mm.
what would be a piece of advice that you could give them to help them achieve, just to get to where you're at today?
Don't be afraid to tell those stories.
Hmm.
I'm the type of person that I really need to make it happen. If you can implement that in your life to make it happen, that's going to help you get further than you would have thought. Because I think about it like this. It's funny with Last Option, that was a film that we made, but if we didn't make it, I wouldn't be in this interview with you.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
wouldn't be sitting right here, right now, having this conversation with you. I wouldn't have been able to be at that film festival and have that on the resume now. And not only for me, but every single person that worked on that film, they wouldn't have it on their resume if we didn't work on it together. So it's like the dreams that we have and the goals that we have for ourselves, it's actually a benefit for other people too, because we're all coming up together. And if you're not living it out and if you don't pursue it, then now you're also probably not allowing somebody, not necessarily allowing, but you're not giving that chance for that other person to be where they could possibly be as well.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, for example, I know AJ's life has benefited from being a part of that Atlanta Film Festival. The people that he's been able to meet, especially as a writer, the connections that he's been able to make as a writer has been a blessing because we decided to make that movie. So it's like for anybody who's watching and is afraid, hey, if you have to do it afraid, really do it afraid, you know? But know that you taking that first step, that's what matters. Yeah.
And I got to tell you this about Don. I'm talking to people listening. I'm not talking to you, Don, or watching. I'm sorry, forgot this is a visual medium. Um, I think I met you on the first night. So full disclosure, I'm at the film festival. I got this badge that says staff. I'm looking for anybody that says filmmaker, so I can talk to them about their films and interview them about their films. And I saw Don, filmmaker, and I think it was like, I don't remember if it was like close to the opening party or something. I just knew there was a lot of stuff going around. And I'm like, pleasure to meet you. Hit me up. I got it. I got to talk to you. And every single time I saw you, I'm scrambling. I work in the marketing department, folks. So like everybody who works for the festival, we're running around for like 16 hours straight for 11 straight days, sometimes longer. And so, but Don kept coming up to me, going, "Hey, man, whenever you want to meet." And then I think we finally did it like towards the end, and I said, "I'm like, he gets it. He gets it. I need to put myself out there. He gets it. I got to promote me. I got to promote the film. I'm part of the film. I gotta promote. I'm part of this machine and I want everybody to see what we did. And I just really admire people like you who get it, who get like, hey, there's money behind this, there's hours behind this, there's time I'm never gonna get back, there's time I didn't spend with my family because we made these stories for you to consume and hopefully be moved by, inspired by, or just get away from reality for 45 minutes to an hour and a half to 2 hours. And Don, kudos to you. And if anybody can find you, and we'll give your Instagram handle at the end if anybody, or if you're cool with that. I shouldn't be just offering that up. If anybody does want to reach out and say, hey man, I'm just inspired and I want to learn what you know, or just bend your ear for a bit. You seem like a very gracious man, so I didn't think that would be too much for me to put out there. Unless you become very private, you're like, dude, I'm good. But speaking of which, though, we're talking at crowds, was talk about the film you're crowdfunding for, which is
Yeah,
Hard to See.
yeah.
Now, what roles, because I know you're not playing a role, because God forbid you only play one role in a film you're making or being a part of. You usually are wearing multiple hats. So, what roles are you playing in the film Hard to See?
It's funny, man. It's a script that I ended up writing. It's a film that I'll be producing as well, directing and starring into.
Look at you. Now, this is your first time writing.
First official time, I'd say that, yeah, we're actually getting a project out that I really put some time into writing. Yeah.
Okay. You told me something earlier. Tell everybody what you did to kind of experiment with the storytelling that you did to get to where you are now with your
My
TikTok.
neighbor. Yes, yes. So it's funny, man, because it's like before I wanted to test something out and build an audience, and I was like, I was seeing what was happening on TikTok, how people were, you know, just building crowds at such a or audience at such a fast rate. I was like, yo, I wonder if I could do that with the project, you know?
Mm,
So I was like, let me write a 1 minute episode series, season one, and see how it goes. And I mean, on my personal TikTok, when I was doing like some funny videos and some creative and talking videos, encouraging videos, I ended up gaining a good amount of followers in a little bit of time. And then I just lost the traction. But then for that series, I started building a following a little bit too. But then uh, the part that did suck though was that at the time I didn't really know how to edit as well. So I was
mm.
paying for an editor, and I was like, man, I don't have $750 to pay for the rest of this. So I was like, yo, I can't even release the rest of this, you know? So only a couple episodes are up. And the crazy thing is with TikTok guidelines now, they muted a couple of those episodes, I guess, because I also had some songs on there that I didn't have, the copyright to, or it was just copyright infringement or something. So I was just like, dang, that sucks. So I just wanted to test it out, see if I could build an audience, but at the same time, look how uh, storytelling on social media platform can go as well. And I'm proud to say I did it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
It wasn't the greatest writing. It was lackluster. It wasn't the greatest, but at the same time, I'm proud of the fact that I was able to do it and put myself out there as well, doing that. But now with this project, Hard to See, I believe it's some of my best writing. And I've grown as a writer and I've grown as an artist since then till now. And I'm just thankful that what I was saying, like doing it afraid, I did it, and I'm proud of the fact of the matter that we are here now. And a lot of people who have read the script so far for Heart to See, they're really digging it. There's some things that we're still tightening up, but for the most part, it's a pretty solid story. You know what I mean?
What is the story about?
Man, it's about this guy named Zach, and on his 30th birthday. He hears his aunt share with his mom how he looks like his dad, so that opens up Pandora box for him. But the only thing is he's never met his dad,
Mm.
and he wants to meet him for the very first time before he goes blind. So uh, it's a it's a heartfelt family drama, you know. Um, And yeah, I think it's a proof of concept for a feature as well. And we have an amazing cast and crew. We have Marquand Smith and Christine Horn involved in the project. Christine, she's an amazing actress. She leads Hollywood bound actors, and she's been in BMF, and so many amazing projects as well. Snowfall, and she's great. She's when I say she's one of the best actresses I've ever seen, I'm like, wow, she's great, and I'm super thankful that she decided to be a part of this. And then Marquand Smith, he actually created this one show called Godfather of Harlem, and it's on Epics, and it stars Forrest Whitaker.
Hmm.
So he's part of this project, and I'm thankful that he's a part of this project too. And we just got some really cool people, course in um, Vandiver, Dario Harris, the homie Corn Tuggles. It's just some amazing friends as well because I love working with the same people too, and who I know we're just gonna, put in great work. And yes, yeah, I'm thankful.
Well, you have a Seed and Spark campaign going right now.
Right now, yeah.
How can people donate if they want to and get more information?
Yeah, if you go to our Instagram page, Heart to See Film, in the link in the bio, the link is in the bio, and basically you press on that Seed and Spark link, and it'll take you to the directly to the page. And on that page, you can choose whichever incentive you want, whether that be $10 to $1,000, or even if you want to give $5 and you don't want an incentive, you can do that as well. But there are many incentives that you can get with the giving that you do, give towards the project. And yeah, man. So uh, we are on Seed and Spark, aiming to raise this film by the end of August, and we are going into production next month.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Not only being who you are, which is a
Appreciate
hell of a man, but also for being an Atlanta Film Festival 24 alumnus, for
it.
being a working actor,
Appreciate
and
it.
to trying to inspire people via your stories. So if they want to keep up on what you're up to, how can people follow you on your social handles?
Yeah, man. Thank you, bro. Don-Dimitri Joseph, Dondimitrijoseph, and that's on Facebook, Instagram, uh, Twitter. Don-Dimitri Joseph.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, more than anything, I want to say thank you for your time. And before we go, we all have to say congratulations to you, by the way, on being a newly married man.
Man, yes,
And
sir. Yes.
welcome to the world of Till Death Do Us Part.
So
It's
that
official,
do us
man.
part. Yes, sir.
So I got one last question.
Yeah.
Is she a fan of your work?
She is, man. When I say she's amazing, I mean this woman is amazing. Like, yo, with last option, I will tell you this. I will tell everybody this because everybody else is watching too. Yo, she watched that movie with me at least 1,000 times.
Oh,
When
wow.
I'm editing and I'm like, yo, does that sound like, can you hear that? Is that like cut too quick? Like, does that work? Does that flow good? Like, I just fixed the audio. Can you hear the white noise in the background? Like, she literally sat and watched the whole film with me from beginning to end in my editing. And man, it's just crazy. Just her support. I love that woman so much. And yeah, I'm thankful that she chose to marry me because yeah, man, she is amazing. She's
That's
amazing.
beautiful. Well, thank you again, my friend. I
Yo,
appreciate
thank
you,
you.
appreciate your time. And if any filmmaker is watching, and if you're an alum from whether it be the Atlanta 20 ATLFF 24 or any year prior, and you would like to be part of this series, which we're going to be doing with a lot of our alumnus, you can email me at keith@atlantafilmfestival.com. You can check out everything we're doing at the Atlanta Film Society by going to the atlantafilmsociety.org. And of course, The 49th Atlanta Film Festival is coming next April. You can check that out at atlantafilmfestival.com. On those pages, you'll find all of our social handles if you want to follow us, see what's going on, see what classes we're offering. Like I mentioned, we have the free networking events every month, the EDBIs. I really suggest people, you go to them, you'll not only learn things, but you'll meet people, wonderful people like my friend here. So again, thank you and take care, everyone.